All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Grant. I'm the Prime Minister of New Strathclyde. I'm also the host of River Valley Radio. This show that you're watching right now, that song was D4N ADB Feel That Way. It's a trans NCS release, which you can view in the description below if you want to listen to it again. Just you can view it in your own time. That's fine. But this week, or at least this fortnight, I have an interview for all of you guys, all you wonderful people watching at home. I have President Joel of the United Federation of Bavaria and Saxony. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Hello.
Thanks very much for being here, Joel. I really appreciate it. I'm sure that all the viewers are going to absolutely love this interview.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here as well. After the first date wasn't happening because I forgot something, and yeah, now I'm happy to be here on the 16th of November.
Yeah, yeah. No, things happen. Sometimes we have to we switch schedules, and that's okay. Things happen. But let's get into the line of questioning. So I'm just looking for something at the moment. Sorry, bear with me. All right. So I know that I introduced you, but if you could give a small introduction about yourself. Who are you and what is your micronation?
Yeah. So I'm John Eisenreich, president of the United Federation of Bavaria and Saxony, and my nation is not that old, to be honest. Our nation is like a cooperation between the Bavarian Democratic Republic and the Free Saxon. There's not an exact translation, but the Saxon state is more like focused on military stuff and so on, and the Bavarians decide, on beer and Leberkas.
Mm, okay. So it's a cooperation between Bavaria and Saxony, or at least two separate micronations. So how did you found the nation, and why did you found the nation?
Um, so I founded the United Federation on the 4th of June last year, I think it was. Right, not very far from the Mike Euro Summit in 2024. I founded it because a friend of mine who was living in Bavaria moved to Saxony, and he said he wanted to like continue this micronational stuff and so on. So I said, why don't we found a micronation with Saxony and Bavaria together? And yeah, so it happened.
Mm. How did you find micronationalism exactly? How did you find it?
How I found micronationalism. Yeah, it's a long story. So I began with the Bavarian Democratic Republic in 2020. And I found it from videos on YouTube about micronations. One of the most known micronations is Molossia, and I thought, why don't I make something like that? Because it's a very interesting topic, and yeah, so that was the whole idea. Because I wanted to do something myself in the same way.
Hmm. Excellent. I mean, I think that's how I found micronationalism myself is through Kevin Ball and the Republic of Molossia. I think a lot of micronationalists that are in the community today at least found it through that medium, or at least through Mr. Ball or President Ball, El Presidente, dictator, whatever whatever his title is these days. But well, it's great to have you guys and the community, and I hope that many people flock to you guys and you know build something that's great. But moving on, does the United Federation of Bavaria and Saxony have any current infrastructure? Like, if so, what?
Infrastructure.
Yes.
Uh, in what way exactly? Because yeah.
So some micronations out there may have, something as simple as a garden shed, in which they do all of their stuff. They might have built their own shed. Some micronations have gone as far as to have, their own, what we'll call space ventures, is more than likely just a bottle rocket that they launch into the sky at about 50 meters. It could be something simple as maybe a trading partner with someone down the street, maybe that but just anything in general.
Well, we are working on it. To be honest, well, we had some infrastructure, like
Mm,
in Auerbach, im Vogtland, that's in Saxony.
mm,
A friend of mine had a garden, like a small garden with a shed. We don't have it anymore because the person who had it had to give it away because of health reasons. And in Bogen, we had where a friend of mine who founded the Saxon part formerly lived. We had a house, but she moved out, so we don't have some infrastructure that's not anymore. But we're working on it to get some again.
mm. Excellent, excellent. And what about legislation implementation? Does it have any legislation right now? Will it have any legislation into the future as well? What kind of plans? What kind of direction is the country going to go?
Legislation. If I'm correct, you are referring to the type of government. I think is it right?
Legislation are just there's like laws or different bits of just just change. I suppose just changing the way that the country's actually supposed to work. Things like that.
Yeah, yeah, we do have laws and somewhat of a legislation, but it's somewhat hard for me to manage all that because we're not that many people, and some people are saying they're interested, but then doing nothing for it.
Mm,
I'm working on it. We have some laws and we have a constitution and everything, but it's somewhat of a hard topic for us to manage. But I think in the future it will be more advanced in that way.
mm,
For example, I could say that we have our state bank, we have our own currency, the Bavarian Saxonian marks, and for example, you could trade it for it and somewhat of an like a bank, like in that way, but it's not working quite properly because we don't have like much of money, to be honest. But yeah.
yeah. Well, every country in terms of in terms of these sorts of things, you've got to start somewhere. You might not have a lot of money to start with, but hopefully in the future, as um, you know, more citizens flock, or just things like that. People coming in and wanting to do things, and motivating citizens is always is always a difficult thing, because I think a lot of people might forget about it and not be so interested about it. I think at least my own experience, it's kind of been, what's the word I'm looking for?
For the
Not difficult, but I can't think of any other word. I'm just going to use difficult. But it's always been difficult to motivate, people to actually come along and do things and actually get
yeah,
behind, the country, because people are always so busy with their own lives. It's always kind of difficult to do
yeah,
certain things.
yeah, especially in Germany. So if you try to find some people who are interested in that, in Germany it's a little bit it's getting complicated over the years because of one big example is the imperial citizens movement.
Mm,
because I tried to get some people and they thought I'm an imperial citizen. Well, it's hard to explain it to them because not many people know what a micronation is. But I think here in Germany, it's we are trying to make it better
Mm.
here in Europe and such. Yeah, but as you said, it's very hard to motivate people for that.
Yeah, yeah. I know that there is quite a few micronations in Germany as it stands. I think Dictionary's one. Obscurium is another. My good friend Zara Antonov. Which I believe you may know yourself. There's a lot of good examples to draw from. And some of these micronations might only so much as have their family actually come along and do things and help out, where they can or when they can, or just things like
Yeah,
that.
Obscurium is very good known to me. Personally, with Sir Antonov, I was visiting him a few times, and he was here before.
Mm.
And yeah, Arthur from Dictionary, that's a micronation based in Austria, but not far from me.
Ah, Austria. That's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit it's a little bit confusing because they're not very far from the German border.
Mm,
Like they sit in the region of Scherding, which is not very far from Passau,
Passau. Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, they even have a consulate in Germany.
Mm.
Here, not very far from me in Deggendorf.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I didn't know that. I will have to talk to Dictionary at one point. Hopefully, have them on. But um, in terms of, I know that we went over citizens' motivation, but does does the United Federation have any plans for citizenship intake at the moment? Can people apply to be part of the nation at the moment?
Yeah, for the United Federation, it's complicated. I say, for the Bavarian Democratic Republic, I had a Google form, but
Mm,
I didn't renew it or something. But yeah, in at the current state, the United Federation has a citizenship intake, which is working like this. You just basically ask me, and I decide if not or yes, based on the people, because you have to be cautious here in Germany as well, because what I said for the imperial citizens movement,
mm,
because you don't want people who are basically part of that movement in your nation, because you don't want the German federal government to like ban your micronation because you have imperial citizens here.
yeah, yeah, that's fair. I'm not really sure what Germany's problem is or the Reichstag's problem is with micronations, but I feel like if people don't think that the country's working as it is and want to found their own country, they should be able to do that. But I suppose it's up to Germany to decide what to do in terms
Well,
of its citizens.
the problem in Germany, I can explain it to you if you want.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, in Germany, the problem is, like not long ago, the German government, the German Ministry of Interior, under Alexander Dobrindt, which is he's a Bavarian, just to say, the German government banned them because they were like very big, and like the head of it, Peter Fitzek, he was like one of the heads of that. They had like very much of infrastructure, like they wanted to build a hospital and
Mm,
like living quarters and stuff. They even had their own bank, which was banned by the European Central Bank Committee, or who it was, were banned like many times. And the German Ministry of Finance also said no, that will not work. They had an own what was it? Uh, they even opened the healthcare, but the whole system was focusing on taking people's money and giving it to Peter Fitzek. That
Mm.
was everything.
Well, scams are
And they and
huge.
they and they said they don't acknowledge the German constitution or the German laws,
Mm.
and that was the whole point. They wanted to reestablish monarchy in Germany, which is not going to happen anytime soon.
No, no, I can't imagine. Not since the fall of that Duchy of Austria-Line, or the Habsburgs, I imagine. I think, what was it? Who was it? Franz Ferdinand. I can't remember if he was a Habsburg or not, but he was
Yeah, he was
shot.
Habsburg, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, shot and killed, and thus World War One. However, moving on. Um, so what diplomacy does the United Federation have? Is it going to go anywhere? Do things? I know that Euro Microcon wasn't too long. I want to say it wasn't too long ago. Maybe during the summer. Did did the United Federation have any attendees for that? Did you go? But is there any other kind of like diplomacy meetings that the United Federation may have?
Yeah, that's a very good topic. So the United Federation, its first diplomatic attendance was at the Micro Summit 2024 in
Mm,
Czechia.
yeah.
It was founded like a few weeks before, so for the MES it was a little bit difficult to manage all the changes. And yeah, in speaking of diplomacy, we do have treaties of friendship and mutual recognition with a few nations, most prominently with the United Republic of Obscurium,
Mm,
with Tsar Antonov, a good friend, as I said before,
yeah.
and even with the with the parliamentary monarchy of Ductionary since the 2nd of August in on the our attend on my attendance of the My Career Summit 2025 in Rom Hall.
Mm, excellent, excellent. Um, what what
Yes, and
what about future plans?
yeah, future plans. I will most definitely we will be attending at the My Career Summit next year in Bern in Czechia.
Mm,
And I will try to look if it is possible for me to visit the Micro Eurocon in August March in 2 years. But which I have to say is the distance from my capital to Aigos Mortes. It's like between Marseille and Montpellier in France.
mm,
It's very far away. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
Mars.
Microcon in the US in where will it be?
It's usually in
Somewhere.
Las Vegas. Usually in Las Vegas. I can't quite remember where they're hosting it this time.
I think it will be in 2 years. It or next year. I think it will be in Dallas.
Dallas, Dallas,
I
Texas.
think,
Okay.
but I think it will no longer be possible for me to go to United States because of the new visa rule which the Trump administration has put in effect or will be putting it in effect, banning certain people from entering with health something with health problems as diabetes
Mm,
because I'm a diabetic. So I think I will not go to the micro con in the US from a health from the visa rule point of view,
mm.
and also from the finances because the microcon is for my standard a little bit expensive.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I've thought about visiting America a couple of times. I mean, I at least thought about going to MicroCon in America a couple of times, but like even flights from Britain are just so ungodly expensive. It doesn't seem like it's worth it to actually go. Some people have that money to throw away. I do not. So
Yeah.
I think.
Um. What I want to point out is Sarah Antonov on his interview said he wanted to go to the microcon I think it was 2024, but
Yeah.
he got he got deported from the United States because, as he told me, the United States of the immigration authority didn't understand what a micronation is.
Yeah,
So
yeah. He did tell me about that story. It's absolutely awful. He left for I think to go on holiday for 3 weeks to the US. They found all the stuff at the border and then just said no, like we're gonna send you back to Germany, which is a bit silly to be honest. But I mean, it's the US rules, unfortunately. So
they did even confiscate his tablet. I think he didn't tell you that.
no, yeah, he did let me know of that. I'm aware of that. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I can't remember if he got it back. If he did, it took him a long, long time.
yeah. He told me he didn't get it back. He had to buy a new one,
Oh, for God's sake.
unfortunately.
That's absolutely terrible. U.S.
Yeah.
U.S. immigration's always been quite harsh or strict, or at least immigration enforcers have always been very, very rude as well. Which if I ever go to America, not looking forward to. So that's just about that. Anyway, so what about current goings on in the community? Are you aware of like anything happening, anything going on? Like maybe hubbubs, I suppose.
Uh, Come again, please.
So current goings on. Are you aware of anything happening within the community right now? Or maybe in the general vicinity of the United Federation. I mean, like Uh, is there any arguments going on? Is there like any other micronational meetings going on? Do you know of anything going on whatsoever?
For my view, not that am I aware of.
Mm,
Um, well, I just know that for next year, the Micro Euro Summit in Brünn. But since then, so before that, I don't know of anything happening in the community here in Europe and Germany or in the
no,
new Fed.
that's fair. That's fair. I think I think when I was younger, I was a lot more involved in the community, so I knew what was going on. But as of age, it's kind of like keep your nose out and just do your own thing, which I feel like anyone who's an adult would reasonably do anyway. Just getting involved with all these micronations is kind of what killed my drive for micronationalism years ago. Um, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not aware of anything, that's fair enough. But again, moving on, what changes would you like to see in the community, or as just to try and word that question, uh, do you think the community should do anything different? Would you like to see the community change?
Uh, yeah, there is something. Well, the first point of me will be that micronationalists and micronationalism is more looking to differentiate them from imperial citizens and from the movement as a whole, which is doing a great start with the Charter of Sheesh, which I signed on in Rom Kahal for the United Federation again.
Mm,
Well, but I think it's not enough. And a colleague of mine, Wallner the first from Silesinte, in their presentation said we need to differentiate us more and more actively from the
mm,
movement.
yeah, yeah. So it's really a change within I suppose Germany that you'd like to see. How at least micronationalists are treated, or at least again differentiated between again imperial citizens and micronationalists.
Yeah, and what I think what I think is somewhat of a point of view, like, and the foreign minister of Lithuania, Mr. Batyan, said in his presentation, which I think is a good point, that democratic micronations don't get as much as attention as like micronations with monarchies.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think it is that's what I think is a little bit disappointing, because if you show the topic of micronationalism, there's not only kings and emperors and stuff. There
Mm,
are also presidents and chancellors and stuff and prime ministers.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's a lot easier for you know, monarchies or emperorships or like anything where you've got one person who's kind of like the sole ruler. It's a lot easier for those to get traction and attention because people on the outside might think that they're a bit nuts. People on the outside
Yeah.
of the community, normal people, like who's this guy to proclaim himself a king. um and does it strike me as a bit nuts to proclaim yourself as royalty? In my opinion, yes, it does, but um, or yes, it is a bit nuts to do that. I just feel like it shows a lot of like self-importance, thinking very, very highly of yourself. But some people are into it. Some people like to do that. But again, that would just be my broad opinion. So I absolutely agree with you. That's a lot easier for those micronations to get attention.
Yeah.
And well, we have come to the end of the line of questioning. Um, we take this time, the next 5 minutes, just to see if there are any questions from the live audience, and hopefully we get one or two for you. In the meantime, do you have any questions for myself?
Not that I can think of at the time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, we'll give the stream 5 minutes to see if there are any live questions, and if not, then we shall just go from there. All right. So if there's anyone watching at home, please take this time now to ask Joel some questions. He very, very quickly came on and did this show, so I would appreciate a live question for Joel. So how did you find out about River Valley Radio? How did you find out about it?
Um, I found out from like a tweet of Sarah Antonov,
Mm,
actually, and I thought that is a great idea, like to make some interviews like that.
mm.
So I thought, Joel, why don't you do it as well? Why don't you get asked something and then try to explain?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I used to do this a long time ago, 5 years ago. It was called something else. It was called the Virgin Radio Service. I'm not sure if you listened to any videos from that time. Possibly not, but I wouldn't say it was greatly successful, but there was I did get quite a few views on it, which I was very, very pleased about. Um, which is absolutely great. So,
Well, the interview of Sarah Antonov was the first, so
mm,
yeah.
mm, absolutely, absolutely. If things change, I'm not sure how long I will do River Valley Radio for. Hopefully, for quite a while. Hopefully for years to come, and slowly I build a viewer base. But at some point, do you think that you would like to see yourself back on the show?
Yeah, I would say so, yes.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's a great format, and I hope that you will go with it on like for very very much of years to come, as you said. Uh, which what I could say would be cool if you
Mm,
would visit some of the events which are going to happen, and then make some radio article for your channel, or make some interviews on on the
Yeah, no,
events.
yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a great idea. There's been a lot of people who've suggested a lot of great things to me, and it's just unfortunately when it comes to attending these kinds of things, or just doing like those kind of radio articles. So I've not got a lot of time and I've not got a lot of money, unfortunately. So if I was thinking about going to the Micro Eurocon 2026. Hopefully, I get a chance to do that. I can't quite remember what time of year it is, but again, it's in Czechia, isn't it?
The Micro is in 2027 in like it was the Micro Summit next year will be in Czechia in Brünn, and
In
the
Brno.
Micro Eurocon will be in like the Microcon EU will be in 2027 in Aigues-Mortes in French
Okay,
in France.
okay, that's great. That's absolutely great. Well, I don't think we've got any questions from the live viewers so far. We'll give it another couple of minutes just to see what happens. So how in terms of going to the Micro Euro Summit next year in Brunn, I think is that how it's pronounced, Brunn?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the Micro Euro Summit next year will be in the weekend of the 14th to 16th of August,
Mm,
with which I think is a great thing. They had have an extended program
yeah,
for it. Like there are three points of it.
yeah.
I will try to get to someone of it,
Mm.
but I will have to look if the time allows it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. If time allows for myself to go as well, I will definitely think about attending myself. But if any other micronationalists out there are watching right now, and you've got an opportunity to go along to this, Zara Antonov and all the other people that have organised this thing, and it's absolutely great. You get to meet a lot of people, get to do a lot of things, and it's very very interactive. But in terms of that, Joel, I think we have run its course. Time is up, but thank you very much for joining me this week,
Yeah,
Joel.
you're
And
welcome.
if things allow, and I keep the show running, and maybe at some point in the future I can have you back on, because I only do these interviews once every 4 weeks, once a month approximately. Um,
Yeah,
but again, again just thanks for taking the time to actually come on.
yeah, you're welcome. You're most welcome.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone for joining us at home. If you get an opportunity to follow or like and subscribe, make sure that you follow Joel's Nation at Rigarung, capital R at the end. Um, you can find any tweets on the X account at NS